I was talking with a friend of mine the other day who has a job offer on the table in another city, and he's wondering what he should do. And so he was telling me about the new job and how it compared to his current job. And I realized pretty quickly that he had fallen into the trap of better. And what he was doing was just comparing the two opportunities. So he's here right now with these characteristics, and he could go there with those characteristics, and which one was better. And I suggested that he stop, set all this aside, and take out a blank sheet of paper and start with best. Start with what would the best job look like? What would be ideal? What would your boss be like? What would the hours be like? What would the work be like? What kind of work would you be doing? With who? Who would be your teammates? Who would be on your team if you're leading a team? What would that all look and feel like? And the reason I suggested he start with best is because with best, we get the target center. We get that bullseye on the target. That now we can say, okay, now this opportunity, how far out from best is that? And where I am currently, how far away from best is that? And then the way to make a determination of which direction you should go, which job makes sense, is to compare it to the best. Does this opportunity, this new opportunity, move me closer to best versus the job I'm in, the opportunity that I have? Because if it doesn't, if it's just better, well, then you're going to have some headache with that. You're going to have to move to a new city. Maybe in this case, his wife's going to have to get a new job, and they're going to have to, it's a town neither of them has ever lived in, so they got to figure that out. And they got to move their stuff. It's just a lot of stuff you got to do, right? It's a different state, so he's got to get his license updated, registration, all that stuff. Well, if it's moving you toward best, well, that's probably worth doing. But if it's just because it's going to be better, well, that might not be worth doing. And if it's just better, well, that's not moving him towards best. And if ultimately he wants what's best, well, then what steps can you take to get there? So maybe you're better off staying where you are and waiting for the opportunity that comes along that moves you closer to best. Not just better than where you are, but moving you toward best. But if you don't identify what best is for you, and let's be clear, it is 100% unique to you. What you think is best is best. There's no such thing as the best that's the best for everyone. It's just the best for you based on what you like and don't like, what you want and don't want. And so he's got to identify that best, and then he can evaluate based on how much closer is it moving him toward best. Otherwise, he's just going to compare better, and that's not getting you closer to what you really want. And now you've taken a better job and a better job and a better job, and you look up one day and you're 20 some years down the road and you're not really any closer to the thing you want. Well, yeah, because you didn't intentionally move toward it. So it starts with identifying it. And one other trap, as we were talking, it was funny. He immediately said, I said, well, tell me about best. Like, if you do anything, what would you want to do? And who would you work with? And what would it be like? And so I got him to describe it a little bit. And he's like, well, but I don't even know how I would get that. I don't even know how to start doing that. I don't even know how to find the And I said, stop. That's a second trap. The how versus the what. Right now, we just need to figure out what. What is best? We don't need to figure out how to get there. We don't need to figure out how we're going to do this. How is a whole separate question that we can deal with once we know what we're trying to do. So get out a blank sheet of paper and start with what is best for you. Whether that's where you want to live, what kind of house you want to have, who you want to marry, what kind of job you want, what kind of work you want, whatever it is, figure out what's best so that you know what you're aiming at and how far away each thing is and whether any opportunities are moving you closer to that best. And don't worry about how for now. Once you get the best, the how will start coming together. You'll see opportunities. Your subconscious will start working on how once it knows what it's trying to do. But give it that target first. So spend some time. This is a great time of year to do this. It's a great time of year coming up in the end of the year. It's a great time to look back and reflect on where you've been in the previous year and where you want to go in the new year and beyond. So it's a great time to be thinking about what's best. So start with what's best. Don't worry about how. And figure that out so that you can move intentionally toward the future that you really want.